Hello, all you beautiful drywallers out there in Instagram, internet, podcast world. Welcome to an It's Ya episode of the Drywall Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Harmon. With us today, all the way from Sardis, Ohio, Kameron Brown, once again, or It's Ya Man Cam, as he's known on social media. Cam runs Precision Drywall and has been crushing it on social media for the last few years or more. We talk about Fresco Harmony, but the actual reason for this second official interview with Cam was because he recently did a project over wood paneling and receive some questions, also maybe some criticisms about his method, and I had some questions myself.
Okay. As far as like going into the remodel. So the biggest thing on this last one, the wood paneling job, the reason we didn't tear the paneling out and do drywall or hang drywall over top of the paneling, when I first met with the client, we walked through the job. She told me what she wanted. She wanted drywall on the wall. She wanted the walls to be smooth. And my first question was, well, are you replacing the trim? Are you going to be doing new baseboard?
Right.
If we overlay this with drywall, you're going to have jamb extensions in all of the doorways. You're going to have to redo all your trim. So
outlets.
By doing,
we've got to bring the outlets out.
Outlets.
All that.
By doing the Fresco Harmony over top of the wood paneling, I was able to save them. I don't know. It's hard for me to estimate because I don't estimate trim work and all that. But when you're talking almost a whole house worth of trim work, you're probably talking 20 grand.
We also talk about his recent experience at Build 24, his sponsorship work, and also a little bit about super media. I'm super proud of Cam. Since we last spoke, he's done a ton of stuff, and I really enjoyed talking to him about his journey. The Drywall Podcast was brought to you today by Fresco Harmony, making walls better since 2004. If you're interested in trying Fresco Harmony, you can receive a free sample pack from our friends at CSR, or if you're in the United States, we'll send you a free sample pack. Just email me at info@frescoharmony.com and we'll get you hooked up. And now, for a limited time on the Fresco Harmony website, enter promo code It's Ya Man 10 and receive 10% off of your next Fresco Harmony purchase. But for now, Kameron Brown, Precision Drywall, It's Ya Man Cam, social media on the 92nd episode of the Drywall Podcast. Let's get into it. Oh boy, lots going on. We have Kameron Brown, It's Ya Man Cam, on for the second official interview. We have done we did a third sort of mini interview after you came to Albuquerque. Cam is one of the very few people to make the pilgrimage to Albuquerque. And of the three people that have come to Albuquerque to do Fresco Harmony training, two of them are highly successful at it. I don't know if that has any correlation with coming to Albuquerque and working with me, but we are going to get into it. So fall would be the 2-year anniversary of your first show. I would have to check those dates.
Yeah, it sounds pretty accurate. Is that your mic that you're referencing?
Yeah, and I got my Drywall Artist shirt. You probably don't have one of these babies, huh?
I don't. That's a pretty sweet shirt.
A story that I love to reference is I didn't know Cam, but like probably most of you, I saw Cam's videos on Instagram and I instantly sort of fell in love. You got the mustache, you got the hair. He's just got this great demeanor about him. And I wanted to interview Cam right away. The podcast was in its infancy. And I thought I was reaching out to Cam, but really I was messaging Columbia Tools because I think maybe you were beginning your relationship with Columbia Tools at that time, or you're doing a promo video for Columbia.
Yeah, yeah, I think I was doing tool of the month for him at the time.
So I just poked on what I thought was Cam, but I was really messaging Columbia, and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to have you on the show, yada yada." And I was like, "Oh shoot, I just messaged Columbia Tools. They're so big and." They would never message me back. I didn't think anything of it. I messaged Cam shortly after and we hooked up and did a show. Well, 2 weeks later, Aaron of Columbia Tools called me and we ended up doing a great show. I got in relationship with those guys and sort of got hooked up from there. But it's just funny how all of that worked. Sometimes
Yeah,
sometimes accidents, happy accidents can occur. And from then, we established sort of a relationship. You immediately were, after our interview, you were curious about Fresco Harmony. You ordered a bunch of material right away. You came to Albuquerque and did a training. We hung out for 2 weeks. I worked the shit out of you.
most miserable 2 weeks of my life.
I just, I happen to have a lot of
Going on the
Fresco
record.
going.
No, that was awesome, buddy.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. You
was
worked with
fun.
my guy Jack. You guys did a swirl with Patterson Snow. That client loved that bedroom that you guys did. It turned out fantastic. And then you did an office for my wife at the time. And that office was just nasty. It was nasty and gnarly. And I was like, I'm going to put Cam in there. That's a really good training. You're
There
going to
was
do an
popcorn
accent.
on the walls where they sprayed the ceiling. I mean, it was
Yeah, it was just
nasty.
nasty. And there was like wood. We had to take wood off. And that was a cool, that I think that was probably maybe, and you can answer this, that was an eye opener for you and the possibility of Fresco, like what you
That's
can get
yeah, that's
away with.
exactly that was the true testimony to me to see like
Yeah.
what it could do, like what you can cover with it.
Yeah. And I mean, I came in and worked with you a little bit on that job just because it was so gnarly. There were these bulbous round corners, and New
Hmm.
Mexico's old. You get all this old like walls and stuff. Probably like the East Coast a little bit. So you went back to Illinois, sorry, Ohio, and you're not in Columbus, right? You are in,
No, I'm down the southeastern part of the state, near Marietta. It's the
okay,
biggest city near me.
okay. But what's your city?
Sardis, Sardis. Real small
Sardis.
town, like not even a stoplight in the town. Like I live out in the country. I don't even live in town.
Yeah, yeah,
So
cool.
just real
Cool.
rural area, small town,
Pretty
laid back.
rural. And this was coming to Albuquerque was your first sort of outing, yeah?
Oh yeah, that was the first like plane ride I ever took.
Right, right. So I mean it's super cool. And if you're thinking about traveling around or going to the AWCI or going up to CSR for a Black Friday event or getting your passport, just Chad and Cam are testimonials to like you just do it, man. It's we have a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
of
don't be
fun.
afraid of it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And
It's well, that's what's crazy about all this is like 2 years ago when we did the original podcast, like we were talking, like you asked me where I wanted to go with this, and I think I mentioned, and I wanted to travel around doing this, doing drywall, doing what I love, and
yeah,
fast forward 2 years, look what we're doing with it.
yeah,
Crazy.
yeah,
It's crazy how to see where it's come, and I'm excited to see where it's going to go from here. Like I feel like
yeah.
we're just starting the snowball. I feel like it's going
Yes.
to be big. Let's just wait. Let's not hype it up too much, but
Strapping it, strap on, strap in, not strap on. That's later. That's later in the show. So yeah. So I mean, there's a little bit of a buildup on this show, I wanted to do like a background and a little bit of build up with Cam because that was you came and did the training so long ago. You went back to Sardis and started selling jobs. And the purpose for this show, and then we've had a bunch of adventures, of course, in between then and now, but the catalyst, if you will, for this show was you recently did a wood paneling cover job. I've done some wood paneling cover jobs. They have their challenges and intricacies, but I think it's kind of like as far as you can push fresco harmony. It's as far as you can push the boundaries of all-purpose joint compound. Like,
Right.
by
Yeah.
all means, you should not go over wood paneling, but we do. And the fun fact about fresco harmony is the very first fresco harmony job that I ever did 20 years ago was over wood paneling. And that held up, for years and years and years. Uh, was that the first wood paneling job? And the reason that you're coming on the show, and I'll shut up in a second, is because you got a lot of questions about that project, maybe some bad feedback. What are you doing? Why don't you just rip off the wood paneling? All these questions.
Yeah, you've got all the keyboard warriors out there. It's just
Yeah,
why are you covering it with mud? It's just gonna pop off. It's gonna crack.
sure,
Cover it with
sure.
drywall.
Yeah,
You should have
yeah.
primed it first. It's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I can't do anything, right? No.
But
It's
also you have I mean, you have people that are like, dude, that's
yeah,
badass. What are you doing? I want to do that. I didn't know you
absolutely.
could do that. So there's the whole range of,
I mean, yeah, that's not the first job that we've done covering wood paneling with it. And I mean, that job in itself was 7 rooms. Like we damn near did the whole house, though, except for a couple of bedrooms and 2 bathrooms.
and they went
Um,
knockdown on the ceiling, right? So they went a textural
yeah,
ceiling.
yeah, it's just what it is around here. Everybody does
Yeah,
textured ceilings, smooth walls. So yeah, and it worked fine. We had no issues at all with it.
right.
So we taped the seams with fiber fuse. We base coated them, or put one coat over top of the tape.
Well, before we get into the wood paneling job, though, let's qualify you as a fresco harmony expert. So you went back. How much fresco have you done? And I mean, you're a drywall finishing journeyman professional, but you've been doing fresco for about a year and a half. You went back and started selling it. What did you do? Did you make samples? How did you start selling it? And you started to accumulate jobs.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is the social media, having the videos and the pictures of it. I think like this past fresco job, before I even walked in on the site with sample boards, um, the homeowner told me, she said, I've already watched your videos. I love the fresco harmony. The sample
Okay.
boards were, I think the sample boards were crucial, don't get me wrong, but I'm finding out now more and more that once people see the content of it,
Okay.
it's sold before I start. And also another thing that helped is I'd done fresco for that woman's coworker.
Okay.
So, and as well as I do, once you have fresco harmony in your house, it sells itself. It,
Yeah.
we fall in love with fresco once you feel it, once you see it in person.
Yeah.
Um, you sell one room and it's like, well, let's just do more with it.
Well, I feel like there's two things that happen. The client gets addicted to fresco harmony because now even if you do one room, they're looking at the other walls immediately in their house going like, "Ugh, these walls look horrible now." But from an applicator standpoint, you get addicted as well because it's
Mhm.
fulfilling to do. It's like, oh man, I'm skimming walls with colored mud and they're turning out amazing.
You
Yeah,
don't leave the job site dusty, ready for the painter to come in. You see the final product and there's
right.
satisfaction in that as well.
Okay, so that's two jobs. How many jobs would you say that you've done thus far?
Oh, probably like total with accent walls and everything near 20.
Wow, that's a
Um,
ton.
a
That's a
couple,
bunch.
yeah, a couple of them were large projects. One was an old, a lot of them are old homes that I'm going into, and I'm either covering old plaster walls or covering wood paneling. Um, so yeah,
Okay.
it's been huge for that market as far
Okay.
as like going into the remodel. So the biggest thing on this last one, the wood paneling job, the reason we didn't tear the paneling out and do drywall or hang drywall over top of the paneling, when I first met with the client, we walked through the job. She told me what she wanted. She wanted drywall on the wall. She wanted the walls to be smooth. And my first question was, well, are you replacing the trim? Are you going to be doing new baseboard?
Right.
If we overlay this with drywall, you're going to have jam extensions in all of the doorways. You're going to have
Uh-huh.
to redo all your trim. So
Outlets.
by doing,
We got to bring the
yeah, your
outlets out.
outlets,
All that.
by doing the fresco harmony over top of the wood paneling, I was able to save them. I don't know. It's hard for me to estimate because I don't
Yeah.
estimate trim work and all that. But when you're talking almost a whole house worth of trim work, you're probably talking 20 grand. Just me throwing a number at it. Um,
Okay.
and also that house was built in 1870, and like in the main part of the house, that trim work was still original. Like you saw the old manholes in it. So we were
Sure.
able to save all that old trim work,
Yeah.
which just
Probably has
is
20 coats
neat,
of paint, 20 coats of paint on it.
It actually didn't. Like a lot of
It
it was still
didn't.
just the stained wood. Yeah, it was actually
Yeah.
beautiful in some
Okay.
areas. So just in tearing all that out, so behind the wood paneling, they had plaster.
Okay.
And, you get into tearing that wood paneling out, you're not just tearing it out, you're tearing out the plasterboard. You've got all that expense of taking it to the dump, you're risking ex asbestos, and there's just a lot that goes into demoing that. I, I would say to demo that project, hang new drywall, you would have been three times the cost of what I was able to go in and do fresco over top of what was there, save all
Okay.
of your trim, um, and it saved them a lot of work.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we'll get into the application. The technical aspects of the application, how you did it. The very first job that I did, I didn't even tape the seams. I think we pulled I was like, I'm just going to smear mud over this. Instead of ripping it out. And, I didn't know how to seal. I didn't know. I just dumped color into a bucket and I had a bucket of white and a bucket of gray because I dumped some black into a bucket and I swirled them together and I did like this and it was trippy. Two colors of mud. It was like super trippy. And I'll pull up hopefully if this is on YouTube, I'll pull up I have photos of that first wood paneling project. But since then, to qualify myself, I've done several. Since that, I was like, oh, if I can go over wood paneling, I can go over tile, cinder block, brick, all kinds of stuff with regular all-purpose ready mix joint compound or quick setting joint compound. I have used Structilite, but maybe 12 to 15 wood paneling jobs I've done, just to let you all know. One of them failed. So there was one job out of all those jobs that had a some type of oil stain on the wood and nothing would stick to it. And we put the Fresco Harmony on. It started to crack, even though we taped the seams, and then it bubbled away from the wood paneling. I took all of the mud off, scraped it all off the wall, primed all of the wood paneling. We refrescoed again, and it failed again. And we had to, in that instance, we had to end up go back in, uh, take off the wood paneling, hang quarter-inch sheetrock, and go that route. That's one instance out of, and honestly, it's the only job that's ever failed. And we've gone over wood paneling or wallpaper a ton as well. That's another. I think you've gone over a little bit of wallpaper as well.
Yeah. I'll tell you what really sold it for me, like as far as believing in the joint compound sticking to the wood paneling is by doing the sample boards. So I took the masonite, which is basically the same thing as the wood paneling, I would
True.
think,
Yeah.
as far as like
True.
flexibility. Take my sample board and just bend it. And that not like you have to bend it an extreme amount before you get that mud to pop off or delaminate.
Uh-huh.
It's not easy to do. Because I've
Right.
tried, my thought was to just break the mud off of the sample board, start with a clean slate. By the time you bend that sample board, it's no good anymore. Like you're better off just covering
Uh,
over the sample. You know, when you if say I'm going from one color to trying to make a new
yeah.
sample board out of it.
Yeah, or I'll have sample boards that get beat up and you can easily just do a coat over the top of and do
Hmm.
a new sample. The question I get asked the most, can you paint over it? No problem. And another misconception is that you have to prime or use a red guard or something special to a painted textured surface, and you don't. You can just go right over it. And a lot of people don't
Now,
know it's the glue in the mud that creates it to adheres to whatever surface you're going over.
yeah, that's a lot of the comments I've been getting on TikTok and Instagram. People are trying to tell me to prime it before I do, which I do prime. Okay, so with the lighter colors and the wood paneling, I prime it first because the black
Yeah.
seams in the paneling, a lot of times it'll bleed through.
Okay.
So to avoid that, I don't know what the percentage is, honestly, because it's done it to me like twice, and any more going into a job like that, I just figure on priming it.
Okay.
Um, just to be safe, you know, because I don't want to get into that base coat and have to fall back and prime. But
Yeah.
anyway, um, so to avoid that, you know, staining on the lighter colors of fresco, now if I'm going over with a dark color, a gray, black, or even a dark green, I think you
Okay.
can get away with the without having to prime.
Yeah.
But the primer's not meant to adhere the mud to the wall better. The primer's just there to kill that staining.
Color. That's color.
Yeah. On this job is I tinted my primer to the color of the fresco, masked everything off prior
Oh,
to doing the
smart.
fresco.
There you go.
Dude, so easy. Like it just
Yeah.
made the whole process so simple.
Interesting. And how'd you
Hmm.
tint the paint? Did you get some tint
I didn't.
bottles? Did you,
No,
you
it was the colors were all matched off of Sherwin-Williams colors, so I just went to Sherwin-Williams,
oh,
got their I used their Pro Guard or Pro Block or whatever it is, the heavier duty primer,
okay, and you
and
can get
I
that
just had them.
primer, you can get that primer made into the color that we were using.
Yeah,
What color
yeah.
was that?
So
I forget.
um, Dover white and then silver haze. I forget something like that.
Dover them hills.
Yeah, it was Dover white, and then Silver
No, the
Streak
fresco
was.
color, man. Silver Streak was it was silver. I think Silver Streak was the fresco color.
Yeah, right, right.
And
That's the only one that matters.
Dover them hills.
I'll tell
Yeah.
you, of all the colors I did in that job, the which it was an amazing transformation because you went from having brown walls throughout the entire house to these beautiful white or silver, and it just lightened the house up so much more and just made a nicer environment. But the master bedroom where we did the bush bean green, those walls turned out beautiful. I love the darker colors and the movement that you get in them. Like the lighter colors are, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful, Nick, but you just
Yeah,
don't. I love the movement
I
and
agree.
the swirls. Like those are kind of my favorite things with the frescoes, getting artistic with it.
Yeah, yeah. And I a lot of people want to get artistic right away. Some people are more shy. I like it when I am a big proponent of keep it simple. Especially when you're starting out. Just do the same color over the same color, use a clear sealer and make a couple samples and go get a couple jobs under your belt, and then you can start to branch out. Maybe then start using colored sealer, the smoke or the gold, and you can start going, doing a coat.
Yeah, I
Just
agree with
go
you because you can
slow.
waste a lot of time just
Yeah,
playing with it
just
and
playing.
yeah, you're coming up with samples that you might think they're sweet, you might think they're awesome, but you got to sell them. People just look at you like you're
Yeah.
crazy.
You
It's
did a
like, man, what are
beautiful
you?
bathroom that like went viral on TikTok that got a million hits or whatever, where you're doing the black and white swirl. It still comes up on my feed sometimes, like, oh, so and
Mhm.
so liked your video with Cam or whatever. And that, although it is cool, it gets a lot of hits, it's not for everybody. Same
No.
with the shiny Venetian plaster. You're going to have clients that like the shiny Venetian plaster, or you maybe want to do shiny Venetian plaster on the fireplace, but the rest of the room, you want to maybe have something that's more affordable or subtle. You're not going to want the finish on the wall to dominate the room. So I
Mhm.
think there is applications for fresco harmony. There's applications for plaster. It all fits. Some people can afford to do the whole room in Venetian plaster. Some people are working within a budget. I'm sure the clients that you did that job for were extremely happy that you saved them
Mhm.
a bunch of time and energy on the wood, pulling the wood paneling. So, strategy for wood paneling, we've got primer with that is tinted. That is a fantastic tip. I also recommend if you are going over wood paneling with Fresco Harmony, or you're just skimming over wood paneling with regular joint compound, prime first. That is a good tip. What's your next step after you prime?
So actually, before we prime, we go through and tape it with fiberfuse and do
Okay.
our base coat with just regular. I use all-purpose mud to tape with, and I actually added a glue, bonding agent. Like it's called. I'm looking at it over here. It's called Super Bond. Um,
Really?
yeah.
That's cool.
It is. It's
Cool.
just a glue, and the reason I did that is because I've had in the past I've had tape kind of peel off of wood paneling.
Okay.
So and I don't know, the last time that it happened, I used paper tape, and I think that I may have just wiped the tape down too much and it just caused it to blister. So this
Ah,
time I switched. I went with fiber fuse because you can see if you've got a blister with it. I added glue just to be extra safe. Um,
okay. I guess you
so
could
we
have
tape
used
it with
a
five.
you could have used a taping mud, right? Instead of a all-purpose.
I did use taping
You did.
mud,
Okay.
but well, I guess all purpose. So green lid all purpose is what I was using as
That's like a
taping mud.
taping. That's like a
Like a
taping mud.
heavy,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, so we taped all the seams with fiber fuse. The angles we just taped with regular paper tape, rolled them and flushed them so they're kind of bedded with taping mud as well.
Okay.
Corner bead we used Trimtex Fast Edge because it's got that mud lock technology. So after we got all the tape on, we put one coat over it with +3, and then we primed it from there. And then as soon as we had it primed, I did 2 coats of primer. We just sprayed it. I didn't back roll. It took no time at all.
So you're
Um,
for the layman, I guess, or our finishing community, you're finishing those walls essentially to a level two. Tape in
yeah.
one coat,
hmm Yeah,
basically.
and I'll take my knife. I don't sand it, but I'll take my knife and scrape down the heavy
Sure.
lat lines,
Yeah.
and then yeah, spray
Sculpting.
primer.
I don't call it sanding, I call it sculpting.
Yeah, that's a better word
Take
for
your
it.
6 inch, sculpt
Yeah.
up your corners. And then if you're using fast edge, probably less fill on your corner bead. Because also, too, when you're dealing with wood paneling, the wood paneling experts back in the day, they would finish all the outside corners with that ugly ass trim. And then all your upper angles are finished with like the quarter round, right?
Yep, yep.
And so you have to, one thing that you're doing that's also updating these surfaces is you're pulling all of that ugly ass trim used to, in even inside like the windows, they'll use like the inside quarter round, and you got to pull all that, flat tape all your inside angles, tape, use fast edge or whatever on your outside
hmm
corners. Use I assume the inside corners would be also have trim.
Yeah, yeah, and we did paper tape just on them.
It just seems
A lot of guys are
laborious.
using
Like,
yeah,
no, to
way too
install
much work.
the wood paneling seems laborious to me. Like,
Oh yeah, all that trim work.
ah, just like tons of cutting and chopping and
It was it
nails.
was in at one point though, man. If you had
I
wood
know.
paneling, you had some shit.
You were pimping. Yeah. Wood paneling and shag carpet.
Yeah, those guys are like rolling over in their
Yeah.
graves, like, why would you ever
Yeah.
cover that up?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Or the inventors of the popcorn. Yeah. Yeah. And then you have popcorn ceiling, got the popcorn ceiling, shag carpet, and wood paneling. And look out. You're gonna knock
What
it
more could you
dead.
want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So let's go on with the story.
We primed it, go right into your base coat of fresco. Actually, in my case there, I primed the walls and then I textured the ceilings and then came back and started my base coat of fresco so that I could put my masking tape on the ceiling, get that clean reveal line.
Did you paint the ceilings?
No, no, we just leave them joint compound colored white, you know?
Huh. Like
That's something that's like in
does
my
somebody
no,
else
no,
come in
in
and
my
paint?
no, in my area, like we've never painted the ceilings. Like it's just we just always leave them.
Shut your goddamn mouth right now. What are you talking
Why?
about? You don't paint
Yeah.
this.
No, I don't. Like what? If I got to
Because
come back and repair it,
if you open a bottle of wine and it shoots up onto the ceiling, it'll stain.
yeah, but it's probably gonna stain whether it's painted or not, right?
That's true. But so you would do a base skim coat of regular joint compound, and then you were doing a knockdown over the top of that, correct?
I guess you could say that. I just go through with my sprayer and I'll spray it and white it
Okay.
out, just spray a mist up there, and then I'll come back an hour later and I'll spray my knockdown. And
Weird. That's weird to
yeah.
me. I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
That's like a freaking Sardis thing, man.
Yeah, I don't know why. That's a lot of people would be like, "Yeah, we gotta prime our ceilings before we texture them." I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Dude,
Or I just saw where Chad.
this is gonna go on Instagram on the promo. I'm gonna find out if anyone anywhere in the world does not paint their ceilings because that's interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm
Oh
gonna be known
boy.
as a total hack after this interview.
That's okay. And I've noticed that you're putting like little googly eyes on some of your flat boxes that from Columbia have googly eyes on them, and maybe
Yeah, I recently had an affair.
you're developing a deeper relationship with your automatic tools. Do you want to tell me a
Yeah,
little bit about that?
me and the Predator are getting pretty serious. I had
Okay.
an affair with the 7-inch flat box, and let's just say she's jealous. Very jealous
The
type.
predator.
No, the Predator's really chill. She's very open about our relationship. She's not very shy when it comes to talking about it. Caper was sitting in the corner, like crying over me. She's like, "Pick
Yeah.
me up and use me, Cam."
Yeah. She's ready for retirement. She's ready just to go on the wall, like just mount her on the wall like an old, like
That's
an
kind of
old.
like where it's getting at. Like it's 2 years ago, my goal was to like grow this giant drywall company and like be the biggest and best in my area. So I started buying all these
Okay.
automatic tools,
Okay.
like enough to fit, 2 or 3 crews. And now, like over the past couple of years, I've found that it's easier just to stay small. With me wanting to travel more, it's kind of hard to manage a lot of work back home and also manage work out on the road. So like now it's just me and Wes. If I get really busy, I'll get my brother to come in and help us out. But it's a lot easier just staying small. It's easier to manage, I guess,
Yeah.
with everything that's happening with the social media page, the way it's growing.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll get
It's
into
been
that.
easier.
Talk to me a little bit about how you stay small, because I'm sure like as you grow, you're getting more offers for work. How do you manage like these jobs? Is it one at a time? Do you schedule out? Do you have to learn how to say no?
A little bit of all of that. Um,
Raise the price?
yeah, it's something that I'm like dipping my feet into, and I'm still trying to figure out. I've done zero advertising. Um, So every job that I get's just word of mouth, and that kind
Sure.
of keeps your percentage of getting work when you
Yeah.
get the job that way is pretty good. So you can
Yeah.
pretty much at that point set your price. Um, but it's hard, man, because a lot of people don't realize that our job relies on so many other people's schedules. Just like the Surrey job, for instance, getting pushed back
Yeah.
another. It's
Yeah.
got pushed back twice now.
I know.
And
I'm
it's
well aware.
because yeah, and it's because of other people not
Shout
getting
out to
their
Aaron and Hish real quick for
but it's
keeping us on our
because of other
toes.
people not getting their job. And the biggest thing about that one is like when you work for a contractor who's going to send you work repetitively, or send you more work in the future, you're
Okay.
gonna bust your ass to get that guy's job done. But when you're going in to work for someone like Hish, who's building his own place, he's just building it one time. You're
Yeah.
not going to get return work from him. So you're not going to treat him as good as you're going to treat the contractor that's sending you hundreds of thousands of dollars of work a year. So you get into that, like homeowners just get pushed around when they're doing their own jobs.
It's true. Yeah, we did one that was a homeowner contract. It was all Fresco Harmony. It was a trim techs, that specialty job that we did. And yeah, the drywallers came in, the hangers, we were finishing, but the hangers came in. They hung like, you know, 40 sheets out of the 250 or whatever. And then they bailed for like 3 weeks. I was like, you guys got to come back and finish this. Like, ah,
Yep.
but they'll come in and just start it and then bail and go work for the contractors who they get more work from maybe, or they
And that
spread
happens
themselves too
everywhere. Like,
thin.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That happens all the time. And it's hard. Like this week, I haven't had any work, which has been great because I've been traveling the past 2 weeks. So this is like
Yeah.
honestly, the Surrey job getting pushed back for me was like a blessing. Like I've been able
Okay.
to just chill and do some office work this week, get caught up on some content and
Great.
just
Great.
emails and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but it's hard to schedule work when, things like that are happening. It's just
Sure.
it's unpredictable. The market's unpredictable, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That is a challenge of sort of what we do. Let's talk about sponsorships a little bit. So you had an ambassadorship for Colombia. That was kind of the first, I would say, right? That was your first sort of foray into sponsorship or somebody seeing your content and appreciating it and being like, hey, I want Cam to represent our product. Where did it go from there?
Columbia reached out. I think we worked 2 months together. We did uh the pump. We did pump month. I got a tall boy pump from them, and then we did
Okay.
the semi-automatic set month. And then I don't know, man. Things just kind of went cold with Columbia Tools after that. They just quit
Yeah,
calling me back.
that's what they do. That's what they
I
do.
know. Um, so
Um,
yeah, I haven't been working much with Columbia Tools. No, I'm just teasing. I was just in Orlando with Aaron. Um,
you were one of the several ambassadors at the Columbia booth in at the AWCI 24. There's some stuff on social media about that.
Up there with
You got to
celebrities like
meet,
Danny Moody.
yeah, you got to meet some characters that I have not gotten to meet that we've had on the show. How was that?
Oh, it was awesome, man. We had such a
Yeah.
blast. I don't think any of us hardly got any sleep. I finally got to meet Brad and Frank from CSR. They were down there,
Yeah,
which I think I
nice,
met
super
them
nice
at
guys.
the, yeah, they are. Brad cooked
Yeah,
us a steak, man, that was just to
nice.
die for. And I don't even think he remembers cooking it.
Sure,
It was
of course
amazing.
not. Yeah.
But no, man, it was a blast. We had a great time down there. I wish it would have lasted longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
The boys all went out for pedicures after the show. I ended up missing my flight because of it.
Yeah, but it was worth it though, right? It only took you guys what was
100%. Yeah.
happening with the flights coming out? It seemed like every single one of you guys got delayed. I don't know, even
So
the Queen Kayla got delayed as well, I think coming out of there. What the heck was going on?
I think some storms came into Orlando that night
Oh,
and
okay.
delayed a bunch of the flights. Had I caught my 5:30 like I was supposed to, I rolled in, my gate closed at 5:10 and I walked up to like check my bag in at like 5:08, and the dude was like, "No way!" I was
Yeah.
like, "Come
Yeah.
on, man! You know that plane's gonna be sitting on the runway for another 30 minutes."
They don't do it like that. They'll shut that door at the gate and you're done.
Do you know who I am?
Yeah, they didn't.
They
Like, get out of here,
didn't give
hippie.
a
Let's
shit.
schedule you another flight, hippie, because you're not getting on this one. I don't care. I don't care if you do know Danny Moody from the hit show Tough as Nails. You ain't getting on this flight.
That's exactly what they told me too. I said,
Yeah,
"Well, what about Aaron St. James? He was supposed to
yeah,
call the pilot for me."
yeah. I know Aaron of Columbia Tools. I know Danny. I know Brad with CSR. Dude, these people are ballers, and I'm It's Your Man.
Just
Oh
check the A
boy.
list. I think I'm on it.
So, very cool. So that was a good time. I was sad to miss. I was thinking it was going to be scrunched up at close to the Siri job. Obviously, I should have went. I would have totally went had I known I had more time. But that's neither here nor there. I do want to announce that I am going to be in Toronto in June. We're going to finalize dates, but we're going to do a training at CSR in June. I was thinking, this is the first time I pitched it to you, it would be fun to fly to Sardis and drive up with Cam to CSR for the training.
I
And
like that idea because I was instantly thinking about going up as soon as you said
the
it.
the caveat would be, I think, and I'm working on it. Maybe we can get our listeners to work on it too. Corey from Tech Dry Tools. And no promises, but I think I might be.
That
He
guy's
might be on board to go up there in June
he's
and
hard to
promote
wrangle
Tech Dry.
up.
He doesn't like to leave. He doesn't like to
I
leave.
know he's
So
hard to wrangle up, but
we'll
that would be
talk
awesome
more.
to get him on an adventure.
Yeah, but I think second week
Corey,
in
we
June.
know you're listening.
He's listening. He's listening, and he's. I'll call him again, but maybe we can all call him and be like, there's a lot of Tech Drive fans out there that would like to meet the inventor of the Tech Drive tool. I would like to meet you in
I think we should
person.
just go on the record as saying that Corey from Tech Drive will be at CSR.
I didn't want the Fresco Harmony training to interfere with any other fun things that CSR does. I wanted it to be just a training. I talked to Brad already. He's on board at CSR, and we're talking about a training in at their Concord location in Toronto and a training at their Barrie, Ontario location as well. So two trainings for, maybe on a Thursday and a Friday in early June. More to come. Sponsorship. Okay, so you established a relationship with Columbia. Who's next on board? Who reaches out to Cam next?
I think Renegade, the stove company. I feel like
Right,
they were
Renegade.
next. They sent me because it was right around the time that I went like from subcontracting to being an independent contractor. Um,
Right.
I had no like I was a finisher full time as a subcontractor. I had like zero hanging tools, enough to get by. But
Yeah.
right at the time that I branched off, they reached out to me and was like, "Hey, is there any tools that you need?" And I was like, "Actually, I need a couple benches."
Yeah,
And dude,
hanging
they didn't even
bench.
hesitate. They sent them,
Yeah.
yeah, man, they sent them out right away. I was so stoked, and they even sent me like some taping knives too.
Nice.
Um, what's his name? Harvey Baker is the owner of them. Like I just met him again down in Orlando, and
Okay.
he's an awesome dude. He's always super supportive of my content and
Were you
always
working with
stoked when he sees me.
Renegade before you went to Vegas,
I
AWCI
think,
Build 23?
yeah, yeah, they had sent me those benches like prior to that show.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then that show was when I first met Harvey. And then I just met her, just saw him again, last week or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started working with them. After them, I think Advanced Tools was like the next company to reach out to me. And their marketing team works alongside of Drywall Master Tools. So I went out to Chicago. I met both Advanced Tools and Drywall Master Tools. And they were doing like a photo shoot at the time and like videos to market their tools. So I was the guy holding the tools I mean, you didn't see much
Okay.
of me other than my hands and, the backside of me or something. But
Did you get a manicure before going on and
no, I
doing
should have.
that
Like
work?
Aaron
Yeah.
opened my eyes to mani pedis.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before I would have been like, you're crazy.
No
Now I'm
shame.
like,
No shame.
sign me up. No,
Yeah.
not at
Well, it's
all.
just it's getting pampered. Yeah, and you know
Those
what? Like
guys, those guys all got like a high gloss like gel put on. And like
beautiful.
the little Asian
Gorgeous.
ladies are like laughing as they're doing it
Yeah.
because they know what's going on. None of us knew what was going on. And
Yeah.
I was the last one to get the gel put on. And I was like, do you have any like satin or low gloss? And she's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. So like
Yeah.
mine aren't like, you
Nice.
know,
You were hanging more then. Do you do a lot of hanging now? Did you dip a toe? Did you dip a pedicured toe into hanging and then pull back out?
no, we still hang. We just haven't been doing a lot of hanging recently. We've been doing a lot of like smaller remodel, one room or like
Okay.
this fresco project, for example, is taking up like 6 weeks of our time.
Yeah.
Mostly because the people were living in the house, so we did it in phases. We would shut down a couple rooms at a time or just one room in a hallway
Yeah.
and just take it
Okay.
slow, as people were so there was a lot of stuff in the house that we had to move in stages.
So what does that look like for you? I mean, Advanced and Drywall Master, they work together on
Yeah, so
marketing, and how does that work?
yeah, they're two tool manufacturers in the drywall industry, but they're like two completely different SKUs. Like Advanced makes knives and pans and mixers,
Okay.
and Drywall Master makes like automatic tools. So they're able
Hmm.
to work together like that. I've got four Predators.
Okay.
They're all broke in. They've all been rebuilt. They're all like new.
Okay.
Um, and once you get a taper broke in and running smooth, there's nothing like it. Like when you pick up a brand new bazooka, it doesn't run as good
Okay.
as one that's been ran and that's
Okay.
already broken. It might sound crazy, but until you take a brand new one out of the box and experience it, you wouldn't really know it.
Sure.
So I never gave the Drywall Master one much of a chance.
Okay.
I ran it a couple jobs. It ran all right, but it
Hmm.
wasn't my Predator.
Yeah, fair
And
enough.
and also the Drywall Master one doesn't have my logo on the cap of it. So
Of
like,
course.
how can
Of
I,
course.
how can I
Also,
not
too,
run that taper?
I think when you learn with a specific tool too, you get familiar with that tool, and then it's like, oh well, I'm familiar with this tool because I learned on it. It's my
Hmm.
go-to, and it would be hard to change maybe brands after running a brand for a while. But and then Advanced is more, they've got some unique tools. They do knives, they do offset blades. What else do
Yeah,
they
they've
do?
got the offset skimming blades.
I like those offset knives. Those are cool.
They are. Especially the ones with the rounded corner, the skimming blade style.
Hmm.
They're really nice because it works like a pool trowel. It doesn't dig
Right.
in. It just makes nice, clean lat lines.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else they do have. They've got a bunch of different things. They've got the tape holder. They've got the little um, bead hopper.
Do you
Yes.
use a
So they've
bead
got
hopper? Do you use a bead hopper? But you,
Yeah, I use the Sheetrock brand, the green one.
okay. Okay.
That's what
Yeah.
we use. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Fresco Harmony kind of reached out to me. We worked together. We went out to the Build 23 and did the booth with them.
That's
That was
right.
another
That's right.
team. That
Shout
was
out.
another company.
That was fun. That was a challenging show, but man, it was fun. We had a lot of
There wasn't any booths at Build 24 that was like that. I
not
mean, the
quite as,
Columbia one was pretty poppin'. We were even
yeah.
vaping in the
Yeah.
booth. I'm waiting for Caden to drop it, but we did a video where we blew smoke into the tool case, the road
Oh,
case or
cool.
whatever, and
Yeah.
opened it up and like smoke was roll. There was like a cloud up above our booth. I thought we were
I
gonna
don't
get
think
kicked
I've
out.
met this Caden character. Is that their new social media person?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Caden's the new social media superstar. Dude's the fucking ace with the camera.
Yeah, he's great. Those
Yeah.
videos that he's making are fantastic.
Yeah, I'm excited to have him around and see, what all comes out of that. Did you see
Yeah.
the promo for the new Columbia wagon? The
Yes.
Predator
Yeah.
van?
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I would say probably the Fresco Harmony booth was the most ghetto at the AWCI show. I don't think they were quite ready for me. We were kind of the bad boys of the show. And yeah, if I had my druthers, I think I would keep it that way. Renegade, Advance, Drywall Master Tools, and most recently you've got Troll. But were there any before Troll Clothing?
Safe style safety glasses.
Okay, they made the rounds. Teek's got a pair
Yeah,
of those. Yeah.
they were just that was just like a small little collab that we did. They sent me like three pairs of sunglasses. Um, like you
Yeah.
said, troll clothing's pretty cool.
Did you get a set of indestructible shoes?
I did, and I've still got a video to do for those guys. Like the
I
shoes have
haven't worn mine
not.
yet. I was gonna take them
You
up to
got a pair
Surrey.
too?
I was gonna take them up to You know what? We should do a we should do like a line dancing video at Surrey with our indestructible
That would be so good. Dude, that's awful,
Have
dude.
Corey like blasting
Sean
a flamethrower at him or something crazy.
Sean got a pair of them too, and he never
Yeah.
made his video either.
We
Damn,
should
we're awful,
you
man.
know what? We should all bring our indestructible shoes up to Surrey. That'd be so funny.
They're
It'd be
so
great.
indestructible. I just don't know how I'm going to destroy them.
My only issue out of the gate and why I haven't worn them is because like they're tennis shoes and they have steel toe. Like it doesn't work.
I
They're
know.
too light.
I don't even have boots that have steel toes.
No, they're too heavy. So you have this heavy ass tennis shoe on your foot. No. Um, and they are just off the cuff, no shame, indestructible. And I do appreciate it's the only swag that anyone's ever sent me from a company. So shout out to them for that. Like, no, nobody
And you
throws
dropped
me
the ball.
tools. Yeah, and I'm like, fuck you guys. No, they're god awful. They're ugly as sin. So
They kind of are, yeah.
I mean, they could style them up a little bit more, but it still would be funny. We should do a huge shout out to Indestructible. Like, what look, we should reach. I'll message the group and we'll like get our Indestructible shoes together and we'll do like
Everyone bring
just
your
a
clunky
foot
ass
shot
tennis
where we're
shoes.
doing like a dance. We're doing a little dance with our Indestructible shoes. I don't know.
Oh, that would be good.
Very,
That would be really
very
good.
cool. Oh, and then Troll Clothing. These guys sort of broke onto the drywall scene most recently. Everybody's got Troll Clothing, except for me, of course. I did reach out to Troll and ask them if they wanted to sponsor the Drywall podcast. They gave me the kind brush off, but it's all good.
Hey, you can still save 10% with Hitsy Man 10.
Yeah, you can. So it's your man 10.
Yeah.
It's your man 10 on the Troll Clothing website. Saves you 10% off of Troll Clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will say this about Troll Clothing, I do like their style. Their hats are pretty sweet, and their clothing seems to be pretty cool. Now you've got some Troll Clothing. Is it like durable? Do you like it? Is it like made for the
Oh yeah,
job
the shirts
site?
fit. Yeah, it's all good quality stuff. The shirts
Good
fit
quality.
good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it for sure.
Very cool. And is it like, do they pay you to wear their stuff, or is it just like you wear the clothes, or do they like kick you down?
So they send you the initial care package, which you go on their website, pick 6 to 8 items.
Okay.
They send you that for free, which ended up being like, I don't know, between $300 and $400 worth of gear.
Yeah, good stuff.
Every month I get, or everyone gets, not just me, um, a shirt and a hat for free.
Okay.
If they like your post and repost it, I think they send you $100. Um,
Okay.
And then with that 10% code, if anybody uses it, I think I earn 10% commission off that sale.
Okay.
So go use that
Yeah.
code right now.
Go use who just did a good job with their code? Was it Teak? Teak had
Yeah, they did that
or
Circle
was it
Brand Stilter.
was
It
it the
was both
Gilbert
of them.
girls? Both of them. Those
It was
girls, they're
both,
on
yeah.
top of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Shout out to Teak. Shout out to the Gilbert girls.
I'm still
And
waiting for that Fresco Harmony discount code. I heard that there was a Yaman 10 discount code coming for that.
there is. Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up. Fresco Harmony is so reasonably priced that we don't need a discount code. How cool is that?
I've never seen a sale on Fresco Harmony.
Fuck no. 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 Use Fresco Harmony, make money. There's your pitch. There's your pitch. How much money? Okay. Okay. I've never given Cam and I are buds. You know, whatever. If I had a marketing budget, I would absolutely pay you. But like I've never given Cam, I mean, I've given you some color packs, like let's face it. And
Hmm.
I think
Yeah.
I gave you 500 in product for coming and helping me out at AWCI, which was not near enough, you know, but we did have fun. And we're just playing around. But my take on it is so the Refresh guys, I'm just going to call them out. The Refresh Home guys, they've done a couple of videos for other plaster products. And I've talked to them about using Fresco Harmony products. But here's the deal with influencers, in my opinion, and stop me if I'm wrong. I want people to use Fresco Harmony that, like you, are going to experience Fresco Harmony, love it, make money with it, and do videos because it's a cool product. Obviously, everybody wants that for their product. But Fresco Harmony is a product where you can actually make money. You know,
Hmm.
so if I am paying somebody to make one video and that video sells, that's great. But in my heart of hearts, I want Refresh Home to use my product and I want them to sell it to their clients and make money with the product. I genuinely want that for them. And so it's difficult for me to pay somebody that is not on board with my product, like out of the gate.
Right.
So that is a catch
It's difficult
22
for you to
for me.
pay somebody that uses your product.
Yes.
I'm just pulling your leg, Nick.
It's a strategy. It's like an interesting strategy early on. I want early
And
adapters. That said,
this is also just me busting Nick's balls because we're good buddies.
yeah, of course, and I don't care. You know, you won't catch me in a pedicure chair, but you know, hey, to each their own. To each their own.
Hey, did
You
you
might
see
catch me in a
the
salon. You might catch me in a salon get my hair colored. That's it. That's where I draw the line.
did you see the TikTok video that I posted right before this interview?
I did not. I'll go check
I
it
just
out.
posted a fresco video. I tagged you in it, obviously. But
Cool.
yeah.
Talk a
What?
little bit of social media before we get off too, because I've been doing a little more on TikTok, but TikTok is challenging for me and maybe some of our other people that I've had on the show. Obviously not Jay Wall. That dude like crushes it with TikTok.
Yeah.
You do
That's
well
who
with TikTok.
I've been I've been having trouble trying to figure out like I've been wanting to get on YouTube. I've been wanting to get on Facebook as well. But where I run into an issue is I'll make a video. Um, YouTube Shorts wants it to be under 60 seconds.
Okay.
TikTok enable for me to monetize, I have to be over 60 seconds. Um, and then let's say the video turns out great, but I can get the song on Instagram. However, on TikTok, I can only get like, a certain 60 seconds or, like that's where I run into the biggest
I
problem
hate
is
that.
I know. I
Yes,
don't
I
know
hate
why
that.
TikTok's music is
the
so much.
platform the platform of Instagram is so much more user friendly, and then I don't edit in Instagram or TikTok. I edit in YouTube, so then I drop my video in. I love that I can put up whatever song I want, but then they all want you to use their platform to edit so that they own your shit. But I think
Hmm.
Instagram is more open to like just we'll help you however we can, whereas TikTok wants to control everything, right?
Yeah, I know. Yeah. And it's hard because and now that like um now that I'm able to monetize, like I'm getting into like the views, like TikTok will only pay like they'll pay you for what they call unique views. So like you might get 500,000 views on a video, but we're only going to pay you for 200,000 of those because we think that the other 300,000s were just bots or I don't
Bots,
know what
yeah.
they think they are,
Sure,
but they
sure.
don't, or maybe somebody rewatches the video, you know? It's weird. It's a weird place. It's hard to fit. Like some people understand the algorithm and can really work it. Like Teak,
Yeah.
for example, like growing her page, like she's on it.
Teak on
Right
TikTok
now,
is
I
good.
feel on Instagram, her Instagram page is what I've seen
Yeah.
growing.
Yeah.
It's
She's
hard for
really
me to
good.
really give a shit about growing my Instagram though, because there's no value in it. Like I might get to work with a few companies out of it. I might get some free tools, but now I'm at the point where it's like I've got all the tools that I need. At
Yeah.
this point, for me to make content, there's almost got to be monetary value
Hey,
in it, or
okay,
I
so
just want to.
if you're a tool company and you're out there and you're listening, time maybe to start paying some of these influencers a little bit of skin, get some skin in
But
the game there.
the market for influencers though is starting to get so saturated where it's like
Yeah.
these tool companies see like they're like, oh well,
Yeah.
we can just send a few $100 of free tools out there and get videos out of somebody. They don't see the value in paying us. But it's,
Correct.
when you're paying a social media influencer, you're getting ads directly into your market. It's not like you're just buying a commercial on TV where, maybe 10% of the viewers are going to be interested in your product. Like when you're paying a social media influencer, they're putting your product directly out into the market where probably 70% or better of their followers are interested in that product.
Troll has done a good job. So yeah, I think maybe their strategy was like, hey, we'll give 50, 1,000 influencers our clothes. That's our
Hmm.
marketing budget. And then, let it go. And I mean, that's pretty smart. Go on,
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah.
pick out six things and we'll send them to you. Like, who cares? Who doesn't want a cool hat? Um, yeah. Yep. My strategy is just go be friends with everybody that you want to use your stuff. Just go make friends with them.
Butter them up
Have
real
them on your
well.
podcast. Yeah. Yeah, I think the advantage to the podcast is not eyeballs on the ad. I think it's the that it lives on YouTube. Like somebody will discover the Drywall podcast. They might see the promos for the It's You Man. It might be one of your new followers sees a promo for the Drywall podcast and I'm promoting Cam. They're like, oh, I didn't know there was a Drywall podcast that exists. They go back and watch your episode or maybe Jay Wall's and they enjoy it. They go all the way back to and listen to or watch all of the episodes. And now that advertisement is living, that Columbia ad from a year ago is still living on that YouTube
Hmm.
video. I feel like there's value there, and we have 18,000 downloads now. I mean, it's
Hmm.
not,
Yeah, and again,
no,
you're right in your niche market,
yeah, yeah,
Drywall
yeah.
finishers are going to be listening to the Drywall podcast.
Yeah, yeah. So, who knows, man? I'm not, none of us are marketers. We're drywall dudes and dudettes that, you know, are trying to leverage our influence as best we can.
Hmm.
So very cool. Do you have any tips or advice for somebody that wants to grow their Instagram, TikTok, Facebook pages? And you don't do anything with Facebook, right?
No, I've got
There's
the Itchy Man Camp page just to kind of so nobody else takes the domain.
Okay.
Um, However, it would be so as simple as me clicking that share to both pages whenever I post to Instagram, but I don't.
Totally. Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, it's been hard for me to get onto Facebook.
Yeah. It's primarily Instagram and TikTok. Anything else? YouTube.
No, I'm again, same thing with YouTube. I
Yeah.
gotta edit the videos differently to get them in that 60-second platform. I've been trying to make everything over 60 seconds so that I'm able to monetize it on TikTok. That's my biggest. I mean, I'm not making huge money off of TikTok, but there is potential there, you know?
Okay. Okay.
So that's
Interesting.
where I've been directing most of my focus. I think I got over the 10,000 follower mark back in December, and since then I've made just under $700.
Interesting.
So
That's so
to have
cool.
that coming in, on videos that are already uploaded, like it's
Yeah.
money that I'm making for nothing. So it's good. I feel like I should keep directing my focus towards that and trying to get that number to keep going.
I just realized that videos that I made 20 years ago on Fresco Harmony, I can go into YouTube and like pull that footage and edit it. I just
Yeah,
I didn't realize I could do that. It's very
that's
cool.
cool. I didn't know that either.
Uh-huh. I figured it out and I did it with a couple videos and just took excerpts and posted them onto Instagram. Some of my old stuff, like that art video where I'm making a piece of art, the crackle finish. Like
Hmm.
I spliced that out of an old YouTube video and like threw it up on Instagram, the short.
That
Um,
was another one of my videos that did really well where I did this wall over
yeah,
here with the glue and the gold sealer. That was cool.
that's a fun finish, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel
I
like
would
there
have
needs to
said
be more of
more
that.
glue.
Like I just did this, yeah, I did a small scale wall, like to do a big accent wall like that in like a restaurant or something. That would be really
Yeah,
cool. I'll
yeah,
try and pitch that soon. I think that we should start doing, I mean, I haven't ran this by you
yeah.
uh
Whatever.
before this interview, but you should we should send some Itchy Man Cam stickers out to you, the small ones. And if you could like include them on the Itchy Man color line, like the Cam's red wine and like those
Oh,
bottles, I think that'd
yeah,
be
we could do
sweet.
that. I mean, I could do
Just a
that.
little.
I think it's more beneficial, and I think anybody that has stickers too. Corey is really good at this. He sends you like, ask Corey for stickers. He'll send you like 5,000.
I know.
Uh-oh.
I've got some. If anyone needs tech dry stickers, let me know.
So I think what would be cool is if they use the I'm happy to offer 10% off on a promo code. I'd have to figure out how to do that. I don't think it's a big deal on the back end of my website to do a promo code for this show for Itchy Man Cam. But I would say just send me a bunch of stickers and through the months of April, May, June, every order that goes out will get a Itchy Man Cam sticker, something like that. And then they can stick it wherever
That'd
they
be cool.
want.
Yeah.
It's not stuck
Yeah,
on the
then it's not
bottle.
stuck to the bottle. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
they
better.
can
I
put
like
it
that
somewhere
idea.
cool.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that. It's been a little while, maybe you have a fresh pearl of wisdom that you can offer. And then I have one more question.
I was thinking about this before the show, and then you texted me and told me to hop on early, and
Okay.
that kind of went out the window.
Good. I want it to
I
be
think
fresh.
my last one was with persistence will come success, and
Okay,
that's
right?
true. I guess we could kind of like branch off of that one, and consistency is key. I feel like let's go with that. Um, and you asked me, about growing your social media page, like. You have to stay consistent. If you take that little hiatus, that break away from the page, like people, the algorithm and people both see that, and it's not good. You got to stay consistent. You've got to stay relevant, and just keep on grinding. Keep on posting, keep on doing your
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. It's not a big deal. And I I won't do a big hiatus on any of my pages. I don't post a lot on the Nick Harmon page, but the Drywall podcast and the Fresco Harmony page, one a day at least. Like
Hmm.
I think that's minimum, right?
Yeah, Yeah, whether it's your story or making a post. My thing right now is one post a week, sometimes two, depending on, what I've got going on. It gets a little chaotic, when you're traveling all over the place and
Yeah.
trying to make content but
Or you
it's
could
what I
be
ask for.
Like Sean Ramsden, and you could post like 20 stories a day. Some people do it that way too.
I can't do that. Like much love to him. I love tuning into his
Uh,
stories, but I just
I
can't.
know.
It seems like as soon as I make a post on Instagram, whether it's a story, somebody's in my DMs, and then I'm really bad about taking the time to message people back. Like it takes a lot of
Oh,
my energy fielding DMs and it's always just the bros, just checking in with you or
yeah,
sending you
yeah.
like something positive, but it's a lot. It's a lot to handle.
Also, you've gotten exposed to a lot of new tools, a lot of cool tools, a lot of different systems, whether it be Fresco Harmony or Advanced or some Columbia or some of these other tool systems that you've been learning or using. Is there a tool that you were resistant to for a long time that you gave in, you started using, and something that you can think of that changed the way you finished drywall for the better? You can't imagine doing it a different way now.
Two words, Fresco Harmony.
Oh man.
It's now on top of that, like when we go to automatic tools, um, I have been I switched from using the angle box to um, using the compound tube for doing my final coat on my angles.
That's exactly what I'm
Like,
talking about.
yeah,
Were
like I
you
just
resistant to the compound tube?
absolutely, yeah,
Okay,
and
why?
because it just seemed old school. Like I felt like the throttle, I used the throttle box, the
Yeah.
Columbia, and I felt like that was like the cat's ass for doing
Okay.
angles. But I got a compound tube, and I find that it's so much easier on my body doing like
Ah,
applying the mud. And with me, I've got a two-man system, so it's really not that time
ah,
consuming for me to I'll go through with the tube, put the mud on, and then Wes comes behind me with the angle head or flusher, whatever we're using.
what
And
do you prefer on that? Is that angle head or flusher?
I've been back and forth on them.
Okay.
I
You
just
like them
over the
both.
past year have been dabbling into the flushers. The mechanical ones. Yeah, I feel like the mechanical ones are hard to beat though. They're pretty dialed in.
Maybe the flushers when they're new, like work really well.
That's what I wonder. Like I'm still using the same ones. Now, I haven't done like an insane amount of board feet with them over the past
Okay.
year because I've been switching around. But it makes me wonder like how do you know when they're too far gone? Do they because
Yeah.
they can't just like overnight go bad,
Right.
it's just
They wear
I
down.
don't know. I guess I haven't used them enough to really give you a real good opinion on that.
Okay. But definitely switching to a compound tube. Which compound tube did you happen to get one of those carbon fiber
I have no,
compound tubes?
that's what I'm telling you, man. Columbia Tools just kind of
They're
like cut me
slipping.
off.
They're
I
slipping.
know.
Yeah.
Thank God Can-Am sent me that compound tube.
I'm gonna make a couple phone calls. Shout out to Wolfgang. Shout out to Wolfgang for hooking Cam up.
That
We're
was
gonna
one that we didn't mention earlier when you asked me what
we're
companies
gonna call it Cam-Am.
Can-Am. I love it. But yeah, I'm really excited about that new Columbia Tools carbon fiber. Um,
Yeah. And
yeah,
does it have a back that pops off? So I know that Can-Am's has a back that pops off. So for easy washing, that seems like a convenient feature.
I'm not sure about the back of it. I know that the front of it, it's got the cam lock to where you can take the whole front off.
Okay.
So yeah, it would be nice when that Predator hits the market and I can, probably have to go to CSR and buy one or something.
It's not called a Predator, is it? The carbon fiber
It's
pump or tube?
the whole carbon
Compound tube.
fiber compound tube. I've been trying to find that word for like 10 minutes now. The whole carbon fiber line from Columbia is going to be the Predator line. So
Okay.
it'll
All
be the
right.
Predator compound tube.
The Predator compound tube, or
Hmm.
PCT.
PCT.
Predator compound tube. Very cool. So yes, shout out to Can-Am, of course, for they're always big supporters of Fresco Harmony, the podcast. It's your man Cam and everybody. Wolfgang is a super cool dude. He's been
Yeah.
on the Drywall podcast. We talk periodically. Great guy, great company. If you get a chance to listen to Wolfgang's episode on the Drywall podcast, it is very good.
One thing I haven't got to do yet with Fresco that I'm really excited to try, and I know you've had kind of guys put feelers out there for it, but I want to take my sprayer, mix up a bunch of Fresco, whatever color it would be, and take an entire room and just spray it. Do a mist
Yeah,
coat, just no wipe down, just leave it.
yeah,
Come back with a second coat, spray it, maybe wipe it down with like a big tomahawk skimming blade, some sort, to where it's
right.
smooth, and then spray seal it. And just, I feel
Yeah,
like you would get just a solid one color. You wouldn't
yeah,
get your movement in it from because you wouldn't have lat lines, but you would have a finished level 5 wall, essentially,
yeah.
that's painted.
And the spray sealer is super matte. Like there's no
And
sheen.
it would be so quick.
Yeah. Your ceilings that you do, like the ceiling in that house could have been Patterson Snow. Like you could have sprayed it.
Hmm.
You're saying you don't seal or they don't paint the ceilings. You're doing with white mud. Well, you can give them a color choice now and be like,
Yeah.
you could do the same method, just add color to the mud and do the same method you're doing in Sardis, in your ceilings that you're
Hmm.
not painting. You could spray a clear coat over it or not, you know? Seriously,
Yeah.
like why not? We've got
Right. No, I'm with you.
20 different whites, give them I would do a sample with that ceiling finish on it, like three different white shades, you know, and
Hmm.
sell it. So, and we have had a company here spray on the base coat before the sand finish. I don't think you've done any sand finish either, have you?
No, not large scale. I've done small sample boards, but I haven't
Okay.
done any walls with it.
Yeah, that's a cool one.
Hmm. I like the look of it. I just haven't.
Yeah.
When I go to sell it, people are usually looking for smooth.
Yep.
So just have a
Yep.
hard time getting it to sell.
It's your man, Cam, out of Sardis, Ohio. Cameron Brown, once again on the Drywall Podcast. You can catch his episode. Anyways, we did an episode a while ago that was
Two of them,
very good
actually.
when we first knew each other, and then we did a follow-up episode that was not counted, a follow-up episode just about his experience coming to and doing training in Albuquerque with me. And now, episode 91 on the Drywall Podcast. Thank you so much for your time, dude. I know you're busy. I really appreciate it.
Oh man, it's so good to be back on here.
Yeah,
Call me anytime.
it's good to talk and see you again. We haven't talked this long in a while, man. So it's good to
I
follow up.
know. Right.
It's been too long.
Too long, way too long. I'm about to come out to Albuquerque and do some more fresco with you.
Yeah, and maybe you'll see It's Your Man Cam at Fresco Harmony Training at CSR in June with the great Corey Fisher of Tech Dry Tool. That'd be cool.
And maybe be able to save 10% on fresco by then.
I think so. I think that's possible. We'll figure it out. All right, buddy. You have a good rest of your day, man. We'll talk soon.
So good talking to you, Nick. We'll talk soon, man.
All right, bye.
Later.
Shout out to Cam for being with us on the Drywall Podcast today, sharing his expertise and this adventure into a new realm of drywall and fresco harmony. We really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you in the future much more. The Drywall Podcast can be listened to in its entirety on your favorite platforms such as Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and also YouTube. You can watch this entire episode on YouTube as well, and I generally post those on Thursday, the viewable version on YouTube, as a little teaser and encouragement to head over to our YouTube page and subscribe to the YouTube page, and be sure to also check out the Fresco Harmony YouTube page, as there are over 70 videos of content to view there as well. Guests of the Drywall Podcast will receive a sweet swag bucket from our friends at CSR, filled with lots of neat and drywall-oriented goodies, such as, but not limited to, a CSR shirt, air freshener, a 3-way by our friends over at 3-way, a tech dry tool, maybe a Fresco Harmony sample pack, all that cool stuff just for being a guest on the Drywall Podcast. If you'd like to be a guest, if you have questions for me about the podcast or anything, you can email me at info@frescoharmony.com or call me directly at 505-400-9313. Thank you so much for joining us on the Drywall Podcast today. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and remember, keep drywalling.